I'm sitting with Zara, and this is a personal tutorial for herself, and she's going to find its way onto your website, yeah?
Yep, that will.
Okay, all right. So, what was the focus of this tutorial? How would you sum it up?
The focus of this was for me to find out how to do like animation regarding pixelated images, sprites.
Pixelated images, sprites, yeah. Okay, so one of the issues with creating a sprite is essentially the fact that you have to use, a pixelation, and all of the animation software that we use tends to not have this pixelation aspect to it. Or, it would be better off if it didn't, because we generally use vector instead, yeah?
Yeah.
So, what we've been doing is we've been trying to find a solution for it. So you can see a sprite here, and you can see how a sprite has been localized, taken away from the rest so that it can become part of a frame-by-frame animation. So I just want to go back a little bit and just explain that we had trouble using Photoshop. We tried using Photoshop for that aspect. So you can see several images being used to create a single animation. So you've got the actual animation running through. So you can see you've got lots and lots of different layers, and you've got essentially, if you switch to a frame-by-frame section of Photoshop, you can see it gives you a particular duration for what each frame sits on the screen for. So just quickly, Zara, what did you think were the reasons why this wasn't our best solution?
This was not our best solution because this program is Photoshop is a bit too complicated for pixel art animation.
Okay. Any particular reason why it was too complicated? Anything stand out?
Because when you copy and paste the layers and put them in a timeline, they somehow reset themselves.
Okay. Yeah, there was that element. So each time, you noticed it here as well. Each time we sort of put things together, once we switched it to something else, it lost all of its positioning. Okay, but also another thing to take into account is the fact that you end up making a hell of a lot of layers, and it's very, very difficult to show it on the timeline, which is obviously a big crux when it comes to this sort of thing. Also, it's using pixels itself. Now, obviously, that would be good for pixel art, but it means that you need to be a lot clearer and a lot more. It needs to be thought out how large you do your images, because otherwise, when you bring it into a vector software or something that uses vector like After Effects, it will, if you increase the size of something, because sometimes you need to, it will look pixelated. Yeah. Okay, so what we ended up doing is scratching that idea, and we ended up using a combination of Flash and After Effects. So you've got here a similar setup. You've got essentially a character that is staying in one set position, and you're doing all of his frame-by-frame animation in Flash. So you can see, if we just play the whole sequence, you can see he stops, he moves, he stops again. What I'll do very quickly is I'll just change that one, because what ended up being the case is we got the wrong one. So here, what we're going to do is we're going to grab that, I'm going to drag that all the way to the end there. So it's actually this one. So it stays still on the correct one, yeah? So you can see there, you've got some points where he's still, and then he goes into his walk cycle again, he's still again, he goes into his walk cycle, and then we use some other elements of this character sheet to turn his head before he continues on walking, yeah? So essentially what you'd do is you'd map out how your characters are going to be frame by frame moving within that scene, and then when you bring the the video that you make. So I will do it here, export video. No, sorry, wrong one. Export movie. When you bring it in, now don't worry about this stuff because it's only what's in the white square that gets brought over. So click save on that. I'm going to replace that one because I didn't like that one. And essentially you can see here's the character in the scene. So that's the one that we had issue with because the frame was in the wrong one. So what we'll do is we'll just reload that footage because it's the same name. Hopefully that should change. Yeah. So it's interacting with what it sees on the desktop or wherever you have your files. So you saved it, you re-exported it with that tiny little change, and you were able to make those differences. Yeah. Now, for some reason, he disappears there, and that shouldn't be the case. So there's obviously been some other form of glitch happen, or maybe not. We'll see. Yeah. Oh no, he disappears. So what's wrong with your Flash thing? What's happened? Let's have a look. There. No, it should be working. Strange that it's done that. But anyway, all you need to do obviously is re-export that as that SWF movie and bring it back in. Okay? So essentially, with that, you've got one sprite. This is what we ended up. So that's the other one. That's the Photoshop one that we managed to do, but it was very limited in what we could end up doing. So you can see the larger one is the Flash version of it. Now Flash isn't the best animation software, but it will be fine to use for this. So think about this. If you're using After Effects, if we just go in and say, I don't know, just grab any image or something like that, you would obviously make your own images. If I just copy that image, so if I just save that image even to the desktop, you can use that as a backdrop for your characters, and your characters can interact with elements. Yeah?
Yeah.
So if I grab that and pop that in, it's a new shape layer, I can increase the size of that, you know, and it's only a matter of time before he's in a position where he's working within that scene. Yeah? So, you know, just pop him in how it's meant to be, and let's see him sort of interact. Now obviously it's not the best one, but you can see, you know, you can make a fairly decent bitmap pixel style. Yeah. So when it comes to creating the actual pixels themselves, have you thought about what program to use?
After like these tutorials, I might use Flash and After Effects for that.
Okay. So now both Flash and After Effects don't use pixel graphics. Can I make a suggestion? Use a online pixel creation website. There are quite a lot. So Pixlr, online photo editor, Piskel. I believe it's Piskel. Okay, so what it allows you to do is it allows you to actually animate things directly in it. So let's just show you the interface. Okay, now you'll be able to export PNGs. You'll be able to export PNGs entirely separate. So I don't know, let's get color. So you can see it's pretty straightforward, and you can use it to make a pixel image fairly quickly. Yeah. So I can then start playing around with shading, bring that in. Yeah.
Okay.
Before you know it, I've made one of the most what's the word? Sought after objects in the Legends of Zelda game. Okay, so let's just export that file. No, it's not a program, is it? So we need to work out how to do that. Import. So you can import existing images, save. Save to your gallery, save locally, or export a file. So let's try exporting. Save as .piskel.
Yeah, maybe you should try that.
So we should be able to export. There we go. Download as an animated GIF or a PNG. We'll do it as a PNG because what we've got to make sure is that we keep it as alpha. Yeah, and I think that's going to be the case. So let's download that. Let's see what that looks like in in After Effects for a start. I'll grab that. That's not right, is it?
No, it's glitchy.
Ah, it's taking both. That'll be one. So, alpha channels are preserved. You would hope so. There you go.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, so it is transparent. Yeah?
Yeah.
But you just got to bear in mind about the pixelation. Yeah? So that is far too small an image. Yeah?
Okay.
If I bring that into Flash, what does that look like?
I think it'll look more clearer.
We'll find out, won't we?
Yeah.
So we'll grab that, put that on the desktop, and then bring that over.
Isn't it showing up?
It's not showing up. Yes, very small.
Very small, yeah.
Yeah. So bear that in mind. So when you go and use, say, Piskel or whatever program you end up using, make sure that the document area is a lot larger. Yeah. Resize the drawing area. 32 by 32. Who knows?
Yeah.
So you're never going to want to go over 1080. It allows you. Yeah. It allows you to do it to that size if you want it to.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're fully fine.
Mm-hmm.
Also, you could do your animation, come to think of it, straight up into this, yeah? You've even got onion skinning tools and things like that, yeah?
Okay, that's cool.
Anyway, I hope that was helpful. Is there any other questions you have for me at this stage?
No?
No?
Very helpful. Thank you very much.
Brilliant. Okay, all right.